ethanol as alternative fuel. And here is a story about Brazil governments of using energy. That is back in 1970. At the time, the petrol prices started to go up and getting expensive. And Brazil country is a poor country, and they find they struggling to purchasing the expensive petrol. And then the government thought, well, maybe in my country I have plenty of sugar cane. How about if I can use the sugar cane to make ethanol as fuel? So the government subsidized the production of ethanol by fermenting of sugar. The reason of it so that they don't need to spend so much money to purchasing from the overseas of the petrol. And also it can help to deal with those unemployment, because there is a lot of unemployed people. And today, a quarter of the vehicle in Brazil, they use pure ethanol as fuel. And this story will make us to think, how about Australia? Back in 1970, Australia is a rich country. We have more resources than Brazil. Our land is bigger than Brazil. We have more technology than Brazil, and we are a lot richer than Brazil. And how come after these 50 years, they don't need to rely on petrol anymore, and now they enjoy their success? And now we still complaining about the petrol price too expensive. So does the Brazil story have something for Australia to learn? So should we think about why they will be so successful? What should we do now? Should we just whinging the petrol price all the time? Now I'm going to talk about the petrol and ethanol. And now let's compare of these two types of fuel. And I'm going to compare it by environment point of view, the cost of production, and energy. And we're going to compare it one by one to match. Now let's start off with the first one, petrol, on pollution aspect, and ethanol, less pollution. If you study the petrol is a 8 to 12C, and it is a long-chain hydrocarbon. Ethanol is a 2C with a OH hydrocarbon. How much oxygen do they need? I'll show you. Ethanol only use a few, but petrol, in order to support one chain of petrol for burning, you need a lot of oxygen in order to satisfy a full burning. What happens if you don't have enough oxygen? It will become incomplete combustion, causing carbon monoxide. So you can see petrol is once you're in the more clouded environment or in a tunnel or subway, you're very easy to causing incomplete combustion and cause pollution. And ethanol, they more easy to complete burn. They require less oxygen and is a lot more cleaner and less pollution. So on this one, I give a tick to ethanol, as ethanol is a better fuel than petrol. Now let's look on to another aspect. The fuel, petrol is a non-renewable fuel. Ethanol is a renewable fuel. Why? Look onto the picture. If you look onto where's the petrol come from, it comes from the underground fuel, the underground petrol of the fossil fuel. And this fossil fuel, you pump up and combine with oxygen. So once this fuel you use up, it takes 1,000,000 years for it to come back. So once you use up. It's not renewable. Compared to ethanol, ethanol comes from plant. So this plant that you burn as fuel, and it will go back to the plant. And so this is a recycling. Carbon dioxide with water form glucose in plant. Glucose become fuel to produce carbon dioxide and water absorbed by the plant. So this is a recycling. So in this aspect, petrol is a non-renewable. Once we use up. Ethanol will last forever because it always recycles. In this aspect, I put a tick to ethanol again, as ethanol can renew, would not be exhausted. Now let's look on to another aspect. Greenhouse gas. What is greenhouse gas? Carbon dioxide causes greenhouse gas. Too much carbon dioxide causes global warming. Now we look onto this aspect. Here the carbon, you dig up the carbon-rich compound to take it onto the land. This carbon combined with oxygen form carbon dioxide. The more you dig up, the more you burn, the more carbon dioxide you produce. In this way, this carbon, you will have more carbon dioxide, means more greenhouse gas, and cause more global warming. Now let's look on to another aspect. Carbon dioxide on the land combine oxygen form glucose. Glucose burned as fuel become carbon dioxide and water. Carbon dioxide recycled by the plant and become fuel again. So this is a recycle. You did not using the underground carbon. So this carbon dioxide does not increase. So this is greenhouse gas neutral. It does not increase further carbon dioxide on the atmosphere. So in these 3 points of view to demonstrate, ethanol, it is a better fuel for environment aspect. Now let's look on to another aspect. Cost of production aspect. Look, what is the fuel you're using? You need to have the land to grow and harvest. Think about if you are a farmer, you have a piece of land. Would you use that land to grow food for human use? Or would you use that to grow fuel for the car petrol? I think your priority always will be, I should grow food for human consumption rather than to growing fuel for burning. Because the production costs are very high. For growing crops, distilling, transporting, harvesting, they are very costly. So farming is a very costly production. So in these two sides, which ones will cost less? Petrol will cost less. Ethanol to growing crops are quite expensive. So which one will cost less for us? We prefer petrol because they are not as costly. We should reserve the land for food, not for fuel. Now look on another aspect, energy aspect. Which fuel gives you more energy? As we learn, petrol gives 5470 kilojoules per mole. Ethanol gives 1367 kilojoules per mole. So obvious enough, petrol gives more energy than ethanol. So if you use ethanol, it will be more costly and with less power for your car. Or if you use petrol, they will be cheaper and give you more mileage for power. So which one you prefer? You will say, I will prefer petrol because it's cheaper and with more power. And that is exactly the consideration. Environment aspect, the cost of production, and the energy aspect, it all have to be considered. Thank you.